Hi family and friends, it's your girl Mahotso Mashachi and you are on Alpha Talks. So guys, today I'm not as energetic as always because it hasn't really been a good day for me. It's been it hasn't been a good day. So this is actually partially, not really partially, but the whole reason why I decided to make this video because it made me realize that as much as I've been focusing on my low self-esteem part of life, as much as I've been focusing on my depression side of life and side of things, I've never really spoken about my anxiety side of things. And I think anxiety is a bit more, how do I put it? Anxiety is a bit more, I don't know the right word to use. It's a bit more ignored and not taken seriously compared to depression. As much as we don't take depression seriously, anxiety is a little bit down there as well. So I just want to talk to you about it, talk to you about my side of anxiety because I've never spoken about it. I don't know why. I just realized it right now. Okay, so let's start with understanding what anxiety is. So basically anxiety is worry, fear. So yeah, it is worry and fear. I think there's no better way to explain it. But it's a bit more intense. I mean, as people, we all have fears. As people, we all worry about certain things at a certain period of time. But if you're worrying and your fears become abnormal to a point where they affect your daily activities, that is anxiety. Most people call it overthinking. Fortunately, I'm an overthinker. Everyone calls me an overthinker. Yeah, I know it's an anxiety, it's an anxiety into a disorder, but people that don't know what it is, they just call it overthinker. So I think if you're someone who people call an overthinker, you need to watch this video and tell me if not tell me, but think if when now you experience similar things, right? So some of the symptoms to anxiety, as I've already said, it's fear, worrying about the unknown. Okay, we also have a bit of social anxiety in there. We're not the same. Some have social anxiety, some don't. I have social anxiety, but my social anxiety is not as intense. I'll get to that part. But social anxiety meaning uchababatu. But remember, it can also be a bit more confusing because there are people who are introverts and there are people who are scared of people. Okay. If you have lack of concentration, if you're always tired, if you have insomnia, if when you're around people you sweat, or you breathe heavily or things like that, that is common signs of anxiety. Okay. So the reason I'm doing this video is because I don't know. I feel like today my anxiety was tested in a way. Not really it was tested, but I think it has affected me on a bit higher level. Not really like basically what I'm saying is I feel like it has it's touched me. Yeah, let me say that. It's touched me because I'm realizing just how much is a serious problem and it's something I need to deal with. So as much as my depression side of things is looking very good, how I'm no longer in pain, I'm no longer in all those things, I don't have suicidal thoughts anymore and all the other things, the anxiety part of me is pretty much still the same. So I'm thinking I might just have to talk to my doctor about it and ask if maybe I can just carry on with my anxiety meds a bit longer, you know, and stop the depression meds because I'm no longer on meds right now at this moment. But we'll see what the doctor has to say. Okay, so let me get to the story. So what does it mean for me having anxiety, right? So I'm going to share some of my experiences with anxiety and the things that I go through with my anxiety. Like I said, experiences are not the same. I also have a little bit of social anxiety as well. So the social anxiety part of things for me is I'm a person who speaks, I do a lot of public speaking. And so most people think because I talk too much and because I do public speaking, I'm this confident person who's asachabeng bat and everything, which is kind of kind of a bit weird, because when I do public speaking, I have the strength to stand up there and talk, but when I leave there, I'm gonna sit in a room at least for an hour, shaking, sweating, and yeah, it's the after effects are deep, you know. When I'm there, I'm really just shaking, but I'm just like saying, do this, do this. I don't know. I think that is the God miracle side of things, you know. But right after the whole thing that I had to do, right after the talking and everything, I'm really shaking, you know. So yes, people don't know that side of things. They just see me in front and I'm acting all confident. But when I leave the stage, I'm, you know, it's not a matter of like low confidence or low self-esteem or things like that. It's just a matter of, I don't know, really. I'm just scared of people. It's weird, you know. So what social anxiety means for me, it means that I can't have one-on-one conversations with people I just met. It takes a lot. You need to actually welcome me and make me feel open around you before I can actually have a conversation with you. What social anxiety means for me is that I can't do with crowded places, you know, which is why last year I didn't go to class for the whole year, because I would go into a class and I'd just literally I'd literally sweat, I'd literally shake, I'd literally feel my heart beating as if it's about to get out of my chest and things like that, you know. So I couldn't, I really just couldn't, you know. So yes, that anxiety part of me was, yeah, it's deep, you know. So for now, it means that if I'm gonna go out for dinner with you, we would have to go to a private place that is not really crowded. I don't like malls, so when I go shopping, I need to leave here knowing where I'm going, where I'm going, getting my things and coming back. I really don't do well with crowded places, so I could never go to a club because it just doesn't work for me, you know. Actually, recently, I think it was a week ago, if not 2 weeks ago, because I thought I've been doing better with my anxiety because I've been going to class this year, although with me going to class, it means me sitting at the back and me sitting far away from people and me not talking to anyone, you know. So with that, I actually thought, no, I'm doing better because last year I couldn't go to class, but this year I'm going to class, so it's something. Yeah, so I decided, no, friend, let's go to Campton Park with a friend of mine, and we had to go through MTN taxi rank, right? Because we don't have cars. We got to MTN taxi rank and we went in the morning. So in the morning, the crowd wasn't as bad. I know MTN is always bad, but you know the difference between the crowd, yeah, peak hour and the crowd, yeah, morning. It's not really, not morning. Let's say midday, 11, 12 there. It's not really morning. What am I saying? Yeah. Yeah, you know, it's not as bad because most people are at work. So the people, it's not a lot of us that are actually traveling. So, okay, going wasn't bad, but coming back was the issue. Firstly, because Rafulugile very far. We got off at very far and we really had to walk. So when we're walking, we're bumping into people. We oh, we are bumping into people. We're doing this and doing this and doing that. And that led to me actually having a mini anxiety attack, which is something that I haven't had in like a while. I don't think I've had it in like, I think maybe the last time I had an anxiety attack was last year, September, October, you know, but it wasn't severe to the point that I'm ending up in hospital like the ones that I used to have. And I was actually able to control it, but it led to me having a mini anxiety attack. It was just too much for me, you know. So I couldn't take it anymore. So I really don't like MTN taxi rank. I really don't like crowded places. They don't do it for me. So having social anxiety means that when I meet, I'd rather get lost than ask a person for direction. I'd rather get lost than ask a person for direction. Um, yeah, man, social anxiety is a bit deep. I really can't do with strangers. I can't do with strangers. It's the hardest thing that I ever have to do, you know. And then we also have the part of things where it happens in here. So that's the overthinking part of things, right? So what is overthinking part of things for me, you know? So the overthinking part of things is you call someone, a friend, and they don't answer their phone. A normal person, I'm not saying I'm not normal, but you get what I'm saying. Let me say, in normal circumstances, you as a person would think, oh, okay, this person is probably busy, or their phone is probably on silent and they can't get back, they can't hear their phone or something like that, right? But in my circumstance, I'm thinking this person is dead, this person is probably kidnapped, this person is, it's just deep, I'm always thinking the worst of things. So this anxiety thing is really, really affecting me a lot, because now it also means I can't use public transport. I can't use public transport. Get this, I'm broke. I'm a very, very broke person, but I'm forced to use an Uber most of the time. With the Uber as well, I need to make sure I send my friends my location, my live location. I have to make sure that I send my friends I share the trip with my friends. I have to make sure that I do so many things so that this guy doesn't run away with me. Yeah, but I think the reason I prefer Uber over taxi is because with a taxi I actually have to tell the driver ukuthi ngiyehlala phayana, and that's something I can't do as well. I can't shout and tell the driver ukuthi driver after robot. I can't do that. Why? Because there are a lot of people in the taxi. Because what if he doesn't hear me, and then ufitalena, and then what? Or what if I'm in the wrong taxi and I'm just not aware? Like, you overthink about so many things. And that has led to, whenever I try to explain to people what I can't use public transport because of this and this and this, I can't do this because of this and this and this, I'd rather use an Uber, because the Uber is better. The Uber is better because he gets me at my gate and he drops me off wherever I need to go. And yeah, in the Uber, I'm not going to say anything unless the driver says something and he talks a bit much. I probably give the driver one word answers for at least five, 6 times, and then eventually I'll talk to the driver. But in the Uber, it's really just me going in, sitting down, listening to what the Uber driver has to say, and going to where I need to get to. So yeah, man, I think the reason I'm talking about this is because this anxiety has affected me for the longest of time. And this week, I wanted to go attend something, some church thing, and yeah, public transport is just not an option for me. For one, because it will be late at night, so it's not safe. Secondly, because I just can't go to MTN, especially the taxis out where I am now. Because last year I was in Soweto, so it was easier because the taxi drops you off right at MTN. So you get to MTN, you get to the next taxi, and you move. I still wouldn't prefer that, but it's better than now where it drops you off at some corner and you have to walk and you have to bump into people. Oh, I'm even getting chills just talking about it. You have to bump into people, you have to do this, you have to do that. So it's really just, it's too much. It's too much for me. Um, I haven't been able to attend any church trips ever since I started my church, simply because of my anxiety as well, the fear of going somewhere with people that don't know me. Like, it's funny, I can't do sleepovers with friends. I can do sleepovers with friends that I'm really, really close to. Some of my friends, I can't do sleepovers with them. Um, I can't visit my friend because I probably wouldn't know what to say to their parents. They like it's intense. I can only share a bed with people that I'm really comfortable with. I can't share a bed with anyone, to the point that even at home, when someone has to visit me, okay, there's this one girl that likes visiting my house. She knows that she doesn't sleep in the same room as me. She sleeps in another room and not in my room. Why? Because I just don't do well with sharing beds. And I think my family has also understood that, because whenever there's a visitor, they really, really, usually the last person that someone has to share the bed with. Usually I'd rather move out of my room, sleep on the couch, and the person sleep on the bed. Not because kya or kya, but because I just have a lot of anxieties about these things. I also don't know why I'm like this. I really don't know why I have this much anxiety, but it's something, this is just how it is. I can't start conversations. I can't get on public transport. I think about people dying 99% of the time. I really think about my death so many times. I always think whenever I go to sleep, I think, what if today is the last time I ever sleep? It's too much, you know. So the reason I'm doing this video is me just trying to explain to you that there are a lot of us that are actually going through anxiety, and we are called spoiled brats, and we are called overthinkers, and we are called so many things. But the truth of the matter is that we're just suffering and we're just going through something, you know. It might not be as severe as depression, because for me, my anxiety doesn't come with suicidal thoughts. I don't know if there are people that go through suicidal thoughts also with anxiety. I don't know. I've never experienced that, but it's severe, you know. And these things are genetic, you know. Some of them come with past experiences, and others come with genes, you know. So for me, I think it's a little bit of both. I really did have a traumatic childhood. That's something maybe I'll talk about some other day. I don't think I'll ever talk about it, but maybe some other day I will. But so it comes with having a very traumatic childhood for me. It also comes with genes, because I'd like to believe that my mother also has a bit of anxiety issues, because she also worries a lot. Maybe they're not as deep as mine, because she can stand in front of people and talk and everything, but she worries a lot. So I don't know if it's really anxiety. I'm not going to diagnose her, but I know that if my mom calls me right now and I don't answer the phone, she's convinced I'm dead, you know. If I have to travel public transport from one area to another, my mother knows into it. My mother is worried. She asks me not to call her until I get to the place. You know, when I tell her, Mama, I have to go somewhere, she doesn't want to know, because she'll be thinking about it the whole time. So she also prefers me using an Uber rather than public transport, because she also worries about me going to Joburg and everything and blah, 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 blah. You know, so it can be genetic, and it can also be based on past experiences. So I think for me, it's a bit of both, you know, because I think my anxiety it was as bad when I was in high school, because I know that back then when I couldn't use public transport alone to go to church. So what happened was that most of the time I could use it coming from church to home, because if I like a taxi rank, meaning I don't have to stop the taxi driver, you know, but I'd always be with someone who has to do the stopping. So if I'm alone, I'd rather use it from the church to town, because in town, if I like a taxi rank straight, rather than from town to the place to church, because I have to stop it somewhere, and that was a challenge for me, you know. But it wasn't as intense. I could do things. I could do certain things. I could be in crowded places. I could be in loud places and things like that. But then last year with my depression, it then just went up, you know, because I remember when I got discharged from my kiso, it was bad to the point where I couldn't be in a room alone. I don't know why. I couldn't be in a room alone. I couldn't walk down the street alone without having an anxiety attack. I just couldn't, you know. So right now it's a bit different. I can walk somewhere alone. It depends on where exactly, and how the circumstance of the place is, and how crowded the place is. You know, I do try to have conversations with strangers these days. I never really know what to say, because back then I'll just mumble crap. But these days I can say something to strangers, but it's not as bad. But there's just certain things that I have not yet dealt with, which is why I'm thinking my anxiety medication might have worked, because I was taking anxiety and depression medication. So my anxiety medication might have worked up to a certain level, but it has not really done the full job like the depression, because the depression medication has done a perfect job. So I think it's something I need to consider getting back on, so I can get rid of this anxiety once and for all. So I'm just sharing awareness on anxiety, you guys. It's not taken seriously. We are called overthinkers, we're called spoiled brats, but you guys need to think about the people in your life and try and understand why they are the way that they are, and try and accommodate them where you can and how you can, you know. These are not rich people problems. I'm broke. They're really not rich people problems. I'm broke. It's just that I'm able to talk about it. There are a lot of people that are going through these things, but they're not able to talk about it. There's that one child, Goskolong, who never talks to anyone, who's always walking alone, who's never in any school function, who's never, such things are anxiety, who you never see going anywhere. It takes so much for us to actually get out there. If I had a choice, I'd lock myself up in this room, Like, for example, when I moved to this place, because this is a new place, when I moved to this place, I actually had to stay here for like 3 weeks, 3 weeks at least, before I could start cooking because I was just too scared to cook. I couldn't go to the bathroom. When I wanted to go to the bathroom, I'd have to wait here first, open the door so slowly to make sure that people are not here in the corridor or passing or anything because I didn't want to say hi to anyone. Then go into the bathroom. So it's the smallest of things that are just so weird. And so, some of us call it shy, some of us call it introverted, some of us call it overthinking. It's anxiety, and we need to be educated about those things. So this is very long. The plan was short, but it's 20 minutes long. um so yeah, I just thought I should share my mini experience with anxiety. I hope I've created awareness. I don't really know if I have it. I don't really remember things that I said, but I really hope that I've created a little bit of an awareness and I've explained my anxiety type of the side of things. And yeah, I hope that it will help someone. Yeah, and hopefully I'll also get better when it comes to this anxiety thing, because today it has really affected me, because it's really affecting my day-to-day life, and it's really killing me financially as well. So which is something that I really need to get help on. So I mean, imagine my first interview. Yo, I'm gonna die. But hey, re tla bona, only God knows. So guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Do subscribe, do share the video, do like, do switch on the notification button. Thank you very much. I love you so much. It is Makgotso Mahlachi and you are on Alpha Talks. Mwah.